Welcome to Big Val Opinion. Moderators, with my permission, any negativity in the chat should be hidden from this channel. This channel is a negativity-free channel, drama-free channel, and we are here to push the message out. We will not be distracted. So with my permission, any negativity in the chat should be hidden from this channel. Welcome to Big Val Opinion Platform.
And I just really want people to know, I appreciate anybody that's helping me. I appreciate anybody that's helping me. A lot of people have been there for me. I just don't want people going back and forth, being mad at each other because one person did this for me and another person did that for me. That's what the devil wants. He wants to cause confusion. That's what these people want. They want to cause confusion. And confusion ain't gonna do nothing but keep me in here. But the real thing here.
Yo, what it do? It's your boy Big Val Opinion. Back with another live video. Man, it's been a while. What up, It's been a while, man. But I ain't got much going on. Just had a little got a little break time. Got a little break time in between work. And decided that, I'll come on and talk a little bit. It's been a while, but a lot has been going on. A lot has happened. But sometimes you just gotta let things play out. A lot of people there's people I seen some in the news the other day. Don't know how true it is about a pardon or something to that nature that President Trump has pardoned Larry Hoover. It said that President Trump had pardoned Larry Hoover federal cases, but then it said, "What up, Ashley?" Then it said that Larry Hoover also has state cases where he was set to serve 100 to 200 some years. He was given 100 to 200 and some years, 200 years on state charges. I'm not real familiar with that. Then they said he's pardoned NBA Young. He commuted his sentence for federal. Okay, he commuted the federal sentence. Okay, but he still has to face state charges in the state of Illinois, I guess. But somebody said that his brother he was in an ADX solitary confinement for over 50 years, man. That's crazy, bro. How do just ask yourself that? How do you rehabilitate someone by putting them in confinement for all of those years? Like, you can't make that make sense, man. I can't. How is that really rehabilitating to put someone in confinement for 40, 50 years? Like, that's crazy, man. And to me it seems as if, wherever he's at was so bad that just to just to not have to deal with the federal part of his case, but he still has all of these years pending on, he still have all of these years for his state cases. And I was hearing something, they said that he could well he would have went up for parole. It was saying that Larry Hoover would have went up for parole on his state cases like 20, 30 years ago after doing 20 years. So I was like, damn. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility that he can he can do he can go up for parole on his state case, and there's a chance that he could get out on parole, but they said he had to do at least 20 years on his state time in order for him to be eligible for parole. So they said he's been in prison long enough to be eligible for parole on his state charges. And I'm like, but that wasn't the thing that shocked me, when I heard it. When I heard the news, I'm like, wow, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on? Because like a few weeks ago, I just be hearing stuff, man. I'm not always on the internet like I used to be, but I was hearing a few weeks ago because I'm up here up north, and it was being talked about, in certain places that I go to, certain places, that I'm at, that, that the president was seeking to pardon the officer that was involved in the George Floyd case. So for me, when I heard the news about the Larry Hoover situation, I instantly thought about what I had been hearing around the community that I live in, as far as the officer who was involved in the George Floyd case possibly being being pardoned. And I asked myself, I'm like, well, I hope that this is not pretty much like a trade-off. You know what I'm saying? We will give you all this guy Larry Hoover, that is, like, a lot of people idolize, Larry Hoover. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give that community, we're going to give them Larry Hoover in return for this officer who done this thing with George Floyd. And it's just because those were some of the rumors that were circulating around in the area that I live in. But I don't have 100% proof that that's the actual reason for it. I just heard that. Okay, so he pardoned one, two, three, four. So he pardoned about five people. He pardoned about five people. But it's so crazy. Out of the five people that he pardoned, why is everyone in particularly focused on the one person, and that one person is Larry Hoover? Um, a lot of the talks has, in from what Sir Miguel put in here, it seems like he pardoned about five people. But the main topic of going around that has been trending is the pardoning of Larry Hoover. And I understand in our community in the I'm gonna call it the hoods, the ghetto, like Larry Hoover, like that name is like it holds a different type of weight. When we talk about that, we talk about people like Larry Hoover in the hood or whatever the situation may be, or when it comes amongst our peers or whatever different people. You hear the names like Larry Hoover and the Tookie Williams and the Jeff Fords and those different names. Those names, you can also put those guys because like when I did some of the research on. I did some research on what up, Regina. What up? What up? I did some research on Larry Hoover, and the thing about it though, the thing that I find, I'm gonna tell y'all something that I find interesting is that all of these things that the government labeled as gangs, like they took the Crips and made it, they called it a gang. The Bloods, they called it gangs. The GDs, the BDs, the BGN, the BGDNs and all this. They took these organizations and turned them into gangs, like they try to make the Black Panther Party a gang, like they try to make the Muslims out to be a gang. But a lot of these organizations were formed in the ghettos, in the hoods, in the black communities to help uplift the black community. The breakfast programs that these organizations ran. Like I looked up the GDs and all these different gangs that was around, and when I did some of my research looking back at it, a lot of these gangs were formed to bring some type of structure to the community. As of course, some of them participated in things outside of that. But if you look at the originality of the gangs that were created, a lot of these gangs were created to help the urban community, to help the ghetto. They created the breakfast programs. They created the outreach centers for the children in the community to be able to have somewhere to come to when their parents were at work, somewhere they can come and get breakfast in the morning, somewhere they can come to after school to get help with homework and different things like that. And I'm sitting here looking like I'm reading up on this stuff about these different games because if you just listen to the media, you would think all these gangs did was shoot and kill people. When you look at this, man, Summer Girl, get up here, man. I look through some of the stuff with these gang with you know these organizations and the way that the media perpetuate these organizations. And I'm like, damn, if I just went based off of what the media said about a lot of these organizations, I would like, damn, it seems like it was all bad. But then when I started to do some of my own research and when I started doing research for myself and looking into these gangs, and to find out that they also, the crazy part about it, they label the Black Panthers as a gang. They labeled the Muslim, the Nation of Islam. They said that was a gang. They Fred Hampton and these guys. They said that those were gangs. They looked at all of these organizations to be gangs. You know what I'm saying? They were calling all of these organizations gangs. But then you go and you do the research and you look back at then you go back and look at the development of these organizations that they were originally called organizations, and these organizations were like outreaches for the community. Then you see that the government or whatever came in and started to infiltrate, and how they were infiltrating these organizations where it was people within the organization who was getting caught, who was getting in trouble and with the law and things like that. And then they were going like they it was inside people within the organizations who turned it and who helped the government, turn it into what they labeled it as a game. What up, Sir Miguel?
What's up, nephew? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just be brief. Um, everything you said is absolutely on point. It's no different when the Crips started. The Crips actually stand for Community Revolution in Progress. They were doing the same thing as the Black Panthers. Not only protecting the neighborhood, but doing breakfast and making sure the neighborhood was safe and doing little stuff in the afternoon, programs and stuff like that. And of course, we all know that things get infiltrated when we're doing something positive. And of course, the FBI and everybody else is always observing. And I want y'all to think about something. Anytime our community is doing something that is right, it gets twisted with infiltration, COINTELPRO, and then it gets labeled, like Big Boy said, a gang or a terrorist group, et cetera, et cetera. But on the flip side of that, when the destruction comes and it's tearing up our community, no one really says much, because as long as we're killing ourselves, they're going to look the other way. And then when it gets to a certain level where they can come in and take over the community or gentrification, then this is what you have.
Right, because I was looking right, because I was listening into like a media outlet, and this news reporter asked one of the guys, like the news reporter asked the guy like about the drugs in the community, and the guy told her like y'all responsible, like the government is responsible for the drugs being in the community. So the news reporter asked the guy like uh the news reporter asked the guy like, well then why would you say the government is responsible for the drugs in the community? The guy told her, he said, this is America. He said, do we grow coca leaves in America? And the woman was like, huh? He's like, yeah, we don't grow that shit here. So how did it get here? So the lady, she hurried up and ended the interview because the guy, clearly he was calling out the truth. How did something
Exactly.
get into this country how does something get into this country that doesn't grow?
Exactly.
And how did it get into the black community when the black community didn't have access to these things? No one had. Only way we got access to it is, like we say, when we look, when they show a lot of that we see in these movies, right? In these
Mm-hmm.
depictions of the history of this country, when we talk about the war on drugs, man, I'm telling y'all, man, y'all, when we watching these movies, we really have to pay attention because they be telling us how this shit got here. They be telling us how the hoods got infiltrated. These drugs these wasn't a drug of choice.
Mm-hmm.
And my bad. I got disconnected. I got disconnected, but I'm back.
I got you.
I got somebody want to join, but man, you already know I don't. I never seen this page before. You know we be having all type of shit be going on.
Hmm.
Let me see something right quick if I can do this right quick, and let me see something because you know you have to catch this shit while you can.
Correct.
Hold on right quick.
Me and my brother both. Everything starts with music for me. So A&R the whole album or whatever, like but like a lot of the tracks, like personally, and I remember the thing that hurt me the most, and I'm gonna air them out right now, is Jive Records, Barry Weiss. We made a deal that R. Kelly, this is before R. Kelly was really big. He only had one album out. He's gonna give us an original track for the soundtrack. So I flew to Chicago because R. Kelly and I, our attorney, business manager, was the same guy. Gave him the minutes.
What's going on, my brother?
Peace, family. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me up.
Good, brother.
How's it going, man? You know, we have to be careful on these platforms because you have people that come on and they try to get your page struck and get your channel took down when you putting positivity out here.
Yeah, I'm hip. I'm hip. I definitely understand. And I'll make it brief because I don't want to take too much time away. My name is Pan Mulattoism, and that's the name of my page as well. But my question is, because what you're saying really is pertinent to the black community. But my question to you is, with all due respect, why doesn't, and this is in my estimation, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. Why don't the masses of black Americans realize that they are fighting multiple opponents and not just fighting the white man? You're also fighting against the Asians, the Hispanics, the Arabians, etc. So, in conclusion, while the black Americans have focused on, rightfully so, I will say, while the black Americans have focused on defending themselves against the white Americans, the black Americans have also turned a blind eye to the Latinos, Africans, Caribbeans, Arabians, etc., that are encroaching in black American communities and taking over. And I think the host is gone, brother, but what's your name, brother? Sir Miguel. Are you
Yes,
black
sir.
American?
Yes, I am.
All right. And with all due respect, same question to you. If did you hear my question? I could repeat it. Oh, the host is back. Host, did you hear the question, brother?
I missed part of the question. I heard you say about the agent, the war, like us being at war with just more than just one demographic of people.
Yes,
It's
yes.
all the way around the board.
You're
And
fighting multiple opponents.
right, and brother Sir Miguel can speak to that because I'm sure this may be your first time over here, but we speak to this a lot and we talk about this a lot, especially when we talk about the culture, you know, and in this platform. So Sir Miguel, if you want to expound upon it while I take this phone call real quick, and then I'll
All
give you
right.
my thoughts on it.
I think part of the problem is because we're focused on the Caucasian and the system that they created, but at the same time, we don't know how to. We're picking one fight, not realizing we have a multitude of fights that's behind our back, and not really realizing that those other communities are really advancing their culture, their community, and their wealth 10 times more than where we should be. And I think what happens is we're blinded by the fact that it's always Caucasian. Because if you really think about it, anytime every 4 years or every 2 years when they come down to voting, who do they always say who voted the most? Black and white. You never hear about Asian, Hispanic, et cetera, et cetera. So that just goes to show you without us, nothing really moves, but we become stagnant because, as you said, we have multiple fights, but we're only concentrating on one fight. We don't know how to maneuver.
Yes. And with all due respect, and once again, I'm a mulatto, so it's not my position to suggest the solution to the problem that the Black Americans face. But I'll ask you, what do you suggest is the solution?
That's a very good question because it's it's a lot to juggle. But at the same time, if people don't start with their own family first, build within and then go outside, a lot of times we're trying to build outside versus building with, instead of inside. And there's layers to this fight. But at the end of the day, you have to understand the system overall, how it favors certain people and how it doesn't give to others. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to digest. And honestly, brother, I don't really have the answer in total for that because it's a huge fight, no matter how you look at it.
Yes, I hear you, and I will say this: as U.S. citizens, regardless of race, but what I'm about to suggest will definitely benefit the Black American community. If more Black Americans began reporting illegal aliens to ICE, that would decrease the amount of immigrants that are taking over Black American communities. Additionally, if Black Americans supported legislation to place a moratorium on immigration to the U.S., that would definitely benefit Black Americans because it's immigrants that are taking the housing units that could go to homeless Black Americans. It's immigrants and whites that are taking the employment opportunities that could have went to unemployed Black Americans. Additionally,
But
all right,
but
go ahead, brother.
to that point right there, now how many to that point you just made as far as the employment and the housing go. Now, when we talk about the accountability as well, because I do work a 9 to 5 job. You got a lot of our people that looks like us who they'll give you every reason to say why they can't work, and then once you help them with those situations, now you say, okay, now you should be in position to get a job. Oh, I just don't want to work. You know,
And when let me respond to that, to be honest with you, brother, you'll never know until you get the illegal aliens that are taking the jobs out the paint. Every job that an immigrant gets could have went to an unemployed Black American. Every housing unit that is occupied by an immigrant or an illegal alien could have went to a homeless Black American. So you'll never know your true potential until you get the immigrants out the paint. Or in other
right,
words, if you went to their country illegally, they would not hesitate to report you to immigration to get you out the paint.
right. But then that goes to, when we talk about the illegals, that goes to the government, because when you hear what has been going on since the discovery of this country, you know, it's been people. The government has been allowing these people to come here, and that's why I was telling somebody like a week or so ago. Like I said, it's crazy how you can ask all of the people who come here legally, illegally, that's not whatever, however, and they say, "Oh, I'm coming to live the American dream." I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck the American dream is, and I've been here my whole life.
Well, brother, I'm gonna tell you what it is with all due respect. When an immigrant speaks about living the American dream, really what they're speaking about is replacing black Americans, helping to keep black Americans at the bottom caste. When an immigrant comes to the country, you think that they don't know that they're taking employment opportunities away from your community? You think that they don't know that they're taking housing opportunities away from your community? You think that they don't know that they're eating off your tax revenue? They know exactly what they're doing. That's why I say that they are willingly complicit in the ethnic displacement of black Americans. Literally, I can name areas, and I won't go on too much of a tangent, and I won't monologue. I'm not here to preach, but I can name communities throughout the U.S. that used to be majority black American, but are now majority Hispanic. And I'll name them right now. Have you been to Harlem lately? Have you been to Compton lately? Have you been to Northwest DC lately? Shit, even certain parts of Baltimore, you got East Baltimore, areas such as Broadway, Eastern Avenue. Even when you go to Atlanta, first of all, is no longer majority black American. Then you got sections out in Gwinnett County that's majority Hispanic, brother. So yes, when people come to the country and they take over, they know exactly what they're doing, and that's why my initial question is, why do, with all due respect, why do Black Americans turn the blind eye to immigrants that are willingly, ethnically displacing you out of your own communities in your own country? And in case you dropped off, I also want to say this: many Black Americans, and I'm saying everything I'm saying is with love. Many Black Americans believe in the people of color myth, the everyone versus whites. Actually, it's everyone versus Black Americans. So, in other words, when the Black American thinks that he has an allegiance to other quote minorities, those other minorities that Black Americans are seeking an allegiance to, those minorities are actually seeking an allegiance with the whites against you. And we must always remember this.
Yeah, cause see, I see it a lot where I'm at. They got certain areas where I'm at up here in the north, and they call it Little Mexico or Little this or Little whatever. But it's just I never like where I'm from though. Like I tell people all the time, I was born and raised in the South, so a lot of shit I didn't see until I came north. But when I got north, I seen it was totally different than the South. You know, and
Well, not as different as it used to be because I got family in North Carolina. And when I went down to North Carolina, it seemed like every time I go see my family in North Carolina, it's more immigrants, it's more Hispanics. So the immigrants are definitely influxing into the South too. I get your point. It used to be mainly the East Coast, the Northeast, and the West Coast and the Southwest. But nowadays, no, the immigrants are they're encroaching in literally every pocket of the country. And might I add, they're definitely going to the sanctuary cities. And the sanctuary cities usually are the cities that are majority Black American, even though they won't be majority Black American too much longer. But the sanctuary cities are the democratic cities that we, as descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, the Black Americans, we have voted to welcome in these illegal aliens into our cities to take over. So, I mean, a lot of this, we're complicit in our own destruction. We have to take accountability for that. But the point is, what will we do moving forward to, you know, change this? Move it back in the opposite direction. That's why I say just call ICE, man. Anytime you see somebody they look like they don't speak English, call ICE. Figure that out. Even if they do speak English, they got an accent. Call ICE, man. Let ICE figure it out. If they're here legally, all right, they won't have any issues. If they're here illegally, they're gonna get pushed out the paint, which is a good thing. Or I'll say it like this: if Black Americans don't call ICE in 10 years, 20 years, maybe less, there won't be any more majority Black American communities to raise your kids in. Let's think about it. The Black Mecca, which is Atlanta, they just announced that they're not even majority black no more. So I mean, if the blackest city in the country ain't majority black no more, then you got Detroit, their black population is decreasing. These black epicenters are eroding. Where were we raised? And I'm a mulatto, I gotta say this for disclosure. I'm a mulatto, so I know that of all these immigrants that come to the country and we mix everyone together, we mix all the blacks with all the immigrants, the product is a mulatto. So it's essentially I could go on autopilot and put my feet up because I know I will be here in the coming generations. But black Americans, you have to ask yourselves, will you be here in the coming generations or will you be bred out?
Got a valid point.
Yes, sir. But
Hey, brother. Look, I want to say something though, because I'm glad you came on, and brother Sir Miguel, because I'm quite sure we both working right now, but we would like to pick this conversation up on at a later time in the evening time when we can just sit back and expound upon some of this stuff how we really want to, because these are the type of conversations that we do have over here on this platform when we do go live. And now that I see you, I'm gonna memorize you when I see you on. And I will be putting up like I'd like to post on my community wall to inform people when we're gonna do a live. But I would like to bring this conversation back, and that in particular, and we can expound upon it and really talk about it, because I have other people that other families that come on this panel as well, and we're a big group, a big community, and we talk about a variety of topics over here. And this could be, I think this would be a good topic for some of the other guys and ladies that come on the panel as well to be able to get in on it and get their input as well.
yes, sir. And thanks for having me up. I'm actually I'm subscribed to your page now, so when you go
Okay,
live, I'll see
appreciate
it.
it.
Yo, no,
Cool,
appreciate
All
you for
cool.
right.
having me up. Much love, much love, and
Much love,
peace to
brother.
the brother Sir Miguel as well. And
Peace,
yeah,
man.
next time you go live, I'll try to come up. Much love.
All right, just be looking out for the community post, man, because I like to schedule the live ahead of time so that everybody have time to prepare to get on, man. Because, like I say, a lot of places you just named, Harlem and all those, I've never been to those places over there, but I can speak to the South and I can speak to the North. So,
Yes, sir. And peace, brothers. Y'all have a great day. All right. Be
You
safe.
too, brother.
you too.
Peace. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, man, what time you going to get in tonight, man?
Oh, that's a good
Or will you
question,
be
man.
available tonight or this weekend?
Um, I'll be available this week. I can't tell you what time exactly I gotta go in. I mean, I'm gonna get in because I'm at the LA office right now, so it's gonna take me a minute to get
Okay.
to the crib, and then I gotta pick my man up, and then I gotta drop him off at his mom's house. So, it's
All
gonna be
right. All
it's gonna be
right.
a tight squeeze. But
Or
just keep me
Saturday or
informed.
Sunday, man, and I'll just keep you posted. Like I say,
Okay,
I think I'll try to do something on Saturday night, and
okay,
therefore I can schedule it ahead of time, and then people to see it if they decide to come and get on the live or not.
okay.
All right. All right. Well,
All right,
man, it
brother.
was good talking to you. Man, I'm gonna call you anyway.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Personally, I'm gonna call you. So,
Okay, right on.
all right.
All right, bro.
All right,
Be
what
safe
up,
out there.
DV? All right. Thanks everybody for
All right.
coming, man. We're gonna try to pick this live back up later on tonight or
Everyone in
maybe
the chat,
tomorrow.
everyone in the chat, y'all have a blessed day. Continue to do what God has called you to do. Don't look back, look forward.
Most definitely. That's why your rearview mirror is smaller than your windshield.
Right?
All right.
All right, nephew. I'll let you later.
All right.
All right, later.
Oh, son.